Okay folks, I'm going to do an update on the Ody, or the Iatty 2, and so far so good. It's on its third coil, and that's the same coil from the first video. And so just like I said, give you guys an update because what I had said on my first one, it turned out really well. And when I went to bed that first night, I woke up the next morning and all hell had broken loose inside the Iatty, so I had to put another one in there. I didn't do that right. The juice flow control came down and messed up the negative lead, and so I did it again. I also pulled apart one side of the wick from doing that with the cap, and so I learned from my mistake and put together what I thought was only a mediocre coil at first, but however it's gotten broken in, and it surprises me. And it's been 3 days. I don't use this exclusively, but I do try to use it because I know that I need to get acclimated to it, and just figure out really if this is going to work for me. It's not quite, it's like a C2 vape. It creates plumes of vapor. However, the way that I wrap this one, it doesn't seem like it's quite warm enough, but being a visual type of person, it's warm enough for me. I mean, it's warm enough that it creates a lot of vapor, therefore visually stimulating my mind and tricking me into thinking that it's great, but there is something missing. But I'll get to that further on down the line as I get used to it. Okay, so let's give you guys the update. I'm running this at 5 volts. I can't check the ohms on this, but when I first checked it, when I put it together, it was 3.3 ohms. Okay, so I'm running it pretty hot, but it is actually getting better and better with time. So it's something that's growing on me, and I'm learning to like quite a bit. As you can tell, everybody's seen these, but just show you again, it's a very beautiful atomizer. It's actually, once you get it down, really simple to use. It's really simple to rig up the coil and wick. I would say that it is probably 3 times easier to mess with and troubleshoot than, say, like a Genesis atomizer. I know some people, God bless you, you get in there and you get it right the first time and hardly ever have any issues worth speaking of with the Genesis atomizer. However, I'm 180 degrees opposite from that. Any problem that's possible, it will be happening to me. So I appreciate the Ody a lot more than any Genesis product that I've ever tried. So take that as you will. Just like juice flavor is subjective, vape hardware is also subjective. I love, before I got any rebuildables, I loved the Vision Stone 3 tank setup, and a lot of people out there hated it. So they hated it for their own reasons. I love it for my own reasons. But anyway, so here's how this thing's vaping at 5 volts. I do a primer puff because I want it to get hot. I want a little more warmth in my vapor. That could be that I need a PV that pushes more watts to the atomizer, or that I need to make 1 or 2 less wraps with my coil. So as like I said, as time goes on, we will get to the bottom of that. It's definitely worth sticking around. I'm going to show you again. Now the amount of PG-VG ratio in this particular juice is 50-50. I don't really like to go higher than 50-50 with a coil in a wick, you know, the whatever it's called. I couldn't even tell you the actual name of the wick. I'm real sorry about that. But let's see if I can find some. Everybody pretty much knows what it looks like. Okay, in the interest of keeping this speedy, I'm not gonna dig through my drawers to try to find it. But anyways, everybody's seen the white rope. It's like what they use on candles, cotton wick or bamboo wick. Sometimes they make them out of fiberglass, things like that. So with those, I found that you can't really reliably use more than 50-50 VG, and VG is what creates more vapor in your juice. I DIY'd this at 18 milligrams. It's strawberry banana. And so yeah, here we go one more time. There you go, vaping strong. I love it. It looks great. It's turning out to be really reliable. I was real worried that first night when that perfect coil just knocked my socks off. I mean, it was vaping at least as good as this one is now, if not better. So it was an awesome build up and an awesome performance. And then that next day it was like all hell broke loose inside my atomizer. So you know, I was really starting to dread it because I've had so many problems with the Genesis rebuildables. You know, all this stuff is really simple in theory. However, there are a lot of little quirks that you just have to learn yourself. You have to try new things and just see what's going to work for you. Some people, they get half the vapor that I'm getting or less, and they're perfectly happy. Some people run 100% PG, and with a cardo, that's great. You're going to make your cardo last a month doing it that way, okay? But as far as gunking things up and making things more difficult, but making more vapor as well, the high VG is the winner. I mean, it's got its positives and negatives just like anything else, okay? Too much of a good thing is bad for us. And unfortunately I go through that quite a bit, but you know, we're on the right track now, and I appreciate everybody for putting up with me and my fits over my nauseously screwed up vape hardware that I had been vaping with while waiting for the 2 months to work through the one Genesis that I had, and then switching to other things. And you know, it was just a dark time. So you know, I'm really glad that I made it through it, and you know, I'm never going to touch another cigarette again. Don't worry about that. That'll never happen. But still, the way that I am, I'm most generally a nice, helpful, productive citizen of society, and I can see where I may not have been that way for a while. So my apologies. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Have a great one.